Does Indian industry need democracy? The Indian economy's sustained growth today is dash by incomplete democracy. Okay, so what does this line tell us? This line talks about how our democracy is not at a very strong position when it comes to incomplete democracy. Okay, so we are facing a crisis of incomplete democracy. So let's look at the options. Is India deprived? Economy's sustained growth today is, what is the economy's growth today dash by? Is it deprived by? No, it is not deprived by incomplete democracy. In fact, we are talking about incomplete democracy being not something that we would like to have. Okay, hampered, is it hampered? What is the meaning of the word hampered? So it is talking about our growth is being what? It is facing a crisis, right? Our economy's sustained growth is facing a crisis because of incomplete democracy, right? So it hampered is damaged. Okay, and it is not talking about being damaged, it is talking about more on the lines of how it is threatening, okay, our democracy, how it is becoming the cause of, okay, let me just, what is the meaning of the word threatened? Cause to be at risk. Okay, so because of the incomplete democracy that we have, we are facing a slow economy sustained growth. Okay, so it cannot be eliminated, it cannot be faced, it has to be threatened. And I told you why, because it is a cause cause to be at risk. Okay, so it is a cause, that's why we are referring it to as threatened. So there is no correction required, the answer will be given option is correct, that is option 5. all right, now the next option says, while millions of Indians endure, what is the meaning of endure? The meaning of endure is suffer. Okay, so while millions of Indians endure poverty, as in lot of Indians are facing poverty, only a tiny majority value prosperity on the other hand. Okay, so it cannot be value prosperity, because we are talking about most of the people are poor in India, some of them enjoy prosperity, right? We are talking about the rich, so they enjoy prosperity. Okay, so the right answer for this will not be value, it will be option 4, that is enjoy. Yes. Moving on to the next question. On the other hand, many Latin American countries have registered dash growth rates under military dictators, and today one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Okay, in the world. There's a lot of full stop missing. Okay, in the world. Okay, so this line says, on the other hand, many Latin American countries have registered dash growth rates under military dictators. Okay, so we are talking about what are we talking about in this line? First, it is very important to understand what we are talking about. Okay, so it says that lot of Latin American countries, many of the Latin American countries have actually benefited, okay, from the military dictators. Okay, so this is one of the reasons that is given. Okay, so what will be the right answer for this? Countries have registered extreme growth rate. Will it be extreme growth rate? Or will it be, okay, they have become one of the fastest growing nation. Okay, so we are talking about them becoming the fastest growing nation. So it cannot be insignificant, because we are talking about something that has significance. Okay, variable growth rate, no, we are talking about consistent growth rate. Inflated growth rate, inflated is just something that is, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of inflated? Inflated also means something that is extremely high. Okay, extremely high or large in number. Okay, so that is inflated. So has there been extreme growth rates? No, we are talking about, and today one of the fastest growing economies in the world. So they have accepted, there has been acceptable growth rate. It should be acceptable growth rate, not extreme growth rate. We are not talking about something that is super high or something that is drastically high. Okay, they have accepted military, being under military dictatorship, they still have benefited from that. Okay, that's what we are talking about. Okay, so they have accepted growth rate. Okay, so that is the right answer. Option 1 is the right answer for that. Okay, China has an orthodox rather than a democratic government. Okay, will it be orthodox? I don't think so. What is the meaning of orthodox? Okay, inflation does mean, Sony, inflation does mean increase in price, but not in this case. We are talking about inflated prices, something that is extremely high. Okay, orthodox, traditional. Okay, so we are not talking about, we are talking about democratic government. Okay, so we are talking about different kinds of government. Okay, moving on to the next one. Right, so we are talking about different type of government. So it cannot be orthodox rather than a democratic government. It has to be one of the type of government. Okay, so has it China has opted for autonomous government, has an autonomous government? No. What is autonomous? Economic government? Again, authoritarian. Okay, what is the meaning of authoritarian? Where there is something that is favoring or enforcing strict obedience. Okay, and what is egalitarian? Egalitarian is a type of it is a type of a view. Okay, what is the meaning of egalitarian? It is just a view that says that that means authoritarian. Okay, so they have adopted to authoritarian government rather than democratic. Okay, where everyone has a say. They have not taken it that way. They have taken the government which has complete authority over all the general mass. Okay, Marxism. Okay, is egalitarian view. Yes, communism, Marxism, all belong to the almost the same category. Okay, all right, moving on to the next question. So the right answer will be option 3 for this one. All right, moving on to the next question. So why does India need democracy for sustained growth? Why do we need democracy then? Okay, to many, democracy dash slower decision making with corrupt politician and red tapeism. Okay, how many of you understand the meaning of red tapeism? Again, an idiom which has come from, it has a story behind it. The story behind the idiom red tape is usually the bundles of files or government related documents. All these documents, the files were always red taped. Okay, so from there on it became red tapeism. That means a lot of document and paperwork. Okay, so that is the meaning of red tapeism. Now, what does it says? To many, democracy dash. Okay, to many, democracy, what does it imply? Does it mentions? Does it attract? Does it means? Okay, democracy, to many, democracy means is the right answer. Okay, so there is no corrections required, so the answer will be option 5. No correction required. Because it says that for a lot of people, democracy is just that. Okay, it is just politicians, corrupt politicians. It is just about red tapeism, and it is all about slower decision making. Okay, so a lot of people do not agree with democracy. And why do we need such a system in India? That's what the question is. Okay, now moving on to the next 1. Industry should therefore be dash with less, not more democracy. Okay, so industry should therefore be what? Should they be fascinated with? No, we are not talking about fascination. We are not talking about gracious. We are not talking about pleased. The only right option is option 2. Industry should therefore be adapted with less democracy, not more. Okay, so we are talking about in the case of industry, there should be less of democracy and not more. Why not 4 for the previous one, Shubham? Why not 4 features? To many, democracy features slower. No, we are talking about to many people. What does democracy mean? Okay, so that's why it is the same answer that we have. Okay, means is the best option because different people have different conceptions about different things. Okay, so if you ask me what is democracy to me, it might be different from what it means to you. Okay, so it is all about meaning, okay, of democracy. So that's why not 4, that is features, more of meaning of democracy. Okay, now okay, so this one is done. Adapted, yes Ashok, you are right, adapted. Okay, moving on to the next one. Means decision making. Okay, and therefore should be yes. However, while China dash curtails is the option, consumption in order to save and invest more than half its output to produce 10% growth. Okay, however, that means we are talking about a contradiction. While China what? Curtails consumption in order to save and invest more than half its output to produce. Okay, come on guys, curtail. I have discussed this word before. I'm sure about it. It means reduction. Reduce. Okay. So, however, while China reduces consumption in order to save and invest more than half its output to produce 10% growth. Okay, this is what China is doing. It is reducing the consumption in order to save and invest more than half its output to produce 10% growth. Okay. Yes, reduced, decrease, cut off, diminish, decrease, cut, all these are right answers. All right. So what are they doing? They are reducing consumption in order to save and invest more on the more than half of the output to produce 10% growth. That means they are exporting most of their stuff, okay, and reducing the growth. Sorry, cut down. Yes, Jayamuli, it should not be cut off, it should be cut down. Yes. Alright. So what is India doing? Let's find out about that. Okay. So the next part is India dash almost 2/3 of its output and manages to achieve 9% growth from 1/3 of its output. Okay, so what is India doing? Even after India, okay, so even after India dash almost 2/3 of its output and it still manages 9% growth. Okay, so what does it do? It consumes, okay, because here they are curtailing to consumption. Okay, in the previous one, here they are curtailing to consumption. Here on the other hand, we are consuming. All right, so consumption should be the right answer. Almost 2/3 of its output and manages to achieve 9% growth from 1/3 of its output. Okay, that is the right answer. Moving on to the last one. No, not last one, 9th one. Almost 2/3 and 9% growth from 1/3 of its output. dash India's democracy is not inefficient when it comes to, okay, so all these things are telling us what? That it is, that India's democracy, so it is a conclusion that we are drawing over here. Okay, this is a conclusion. So we will use words like thus. Alright, so thus India's democracy is not inefficient when it comes to making, last one, making effective use of resources. I don't think there is any error over here or any corrections required. So the last one will be option 5. Okay, effective use of resources. No corrections required. So that is that. Okay, most of you saying modest. Okay, Ashok, and Shubham, which question are you answering? That's why I keep telling you guys, do not just give me numbers, give me options as well, the word that you are talking about, so that I have a clear picture. 5 for the last. Yes, no corrections required. That is right. Okay. So all in all, this whole thing is about how democracy affects growth and how India needs to, there are pros and cons of democracy and how India is going about it. Okay, how are we dealing with it? Even after all these corruptions and everything, we are still managing to achieve a 9% growth, which is remarkable. Okay, that's what the whole meaning of the passage was. So I hope this was clear to all of you. Just for you to, last option, I did not give a lot of stress on it, so just go through the last option once again. If you have any doubts, please let me know.